Hello to you, my friend. This is Edwin Dearborn, another edition of Growth Driven. And today I have Facebook marketing and advertising expert, John Nesbit. If you're looking to master your lead generation with the use of Facebook ads, then you definitely want to stay for this one. Hey, John, thanks for joining us here at Growth Driven. You know, we connected on Facebook for years.
Yeah.
And I've seen all of your great content being posted. I haven't consumed it all, but you're definitely active on social media, particularly Facebook. And you've been crushing it with your clients on Facebook ads. So, and I know this is a very, very hot topic, not only for this year, but going into next. So first of all, just thank you for being here.
Sure. Thanks for having me. I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to talk to you. I've been following your podcast. It's great. It's good content. I'm loving it. It's becoming one of my on the little favorites list. You know, a podcast is good when it makes it to your favorites list on one of these podcast apps. You're like, all right, there you go. When it comes out, I hear about it. So I like it. Thank you. I'm happy to be on the other side of the microphone.
Yeah, that's great. So tell us how you got started with Facebook advertising. Like, when was that? A few years ago? Or right?
It was about 10 years ago. I mean, the Facebook was fairly new. Okay, so my advertising experience goes way back. I wasn't quite a madman kind of ad man, but I wasn't not that. I owned an advertising agency in Chicago down in the Loop. We did advertising work. I helped bring AT&T and Gateway and Dell to do their first online advertisements. I mean, I was probably like telling them, walking to meetings and have to explain what is the internets, you know, right? Like, things to people who were like had no idea, and even today probably don't have any idea. And then putting them online and working out what will get their ads to run, will get actually connected with their consumers and that kind of thing, right? And in that, we used a lot of database work because, I mean, targeting, even when you have huge brands, you want to do a lot of intelligent data work. And we used to use massive data sets and things and target. When Facebook I sold that agency, cashed out of that, actually built an e-commerce company and since sold that. And in the meanwhile, learned about Facebook. And it struck me as an advertising professional, and I mean, going back to the original days, that Facebook is something brand new that never existed before. The amount of data and targeting and connection and stickiness, I mean, unbelievable. The fact that people will be scrolling through and they will see your ad, and the right person will see it. And the targeting is so precise that you can, if you know what you're doing, you can make the thing dance. You can just really hit your people just right. And because you want to be doing what Facebook wants. And I can get into that a little bit later on. What most advertisers do wrong is they try to game the system. They try to outthink Facebook on it. And when you realize what Facebook's real motivations are, you learn how to work with that ecosystem. Yeah, taking over the world is one of them, apparently. But, what their marketing and advertising motivations are, you can really understand how you can be a successful advertiser with them.
That's great. That's a great point. I think you bring up something that I've spoken about, but you've articulated so well, which is, like, you're not going to outthink Google and Facebook. They hire these MBAs from Stanford and MIT and pay them a boatload of money to be smarter than you. And they put a bunch of smart people in a room and go figure out not only how to do it successfully for the company's benefit, but we also want you to figure out how to block people that are trying to game the system.
Oh yeah, they have just they have billions of dollars at stake. So there's no money's lost on whatever. So people get ads like we here at our company, we're on like literally thousands of campaigns in a given week, and we've got we do, I don't know, I haven't done the math in a while, millions of dollars, maybe $4 or $5 million this year in advertising, right? We do a lot of ads. And we don't get ads blocked. We rarely get ads disapproved, right? How come? How can you do that so much? Because we understand what they want, right? Now, Facebook is tricky, though, because they have a set of published rules, and there's a whole other set of unpublished rules, right? Now, we're finding, they have these in various areas. When it comes to advertising, they have these unpublished rules. And what you have to do is figure out over time what unpublished rules apply to you and take the hint. Like when Facebook gives you a hint on something, take their advice. That's actually one of our key things we actually have written on the wall in my production area is, take Facebook's hint, right? If it says, don't do that, don't do that. Don't try to find a way around it. Believe it or not, Facebook has your best interest as an advertiser at heart. They want you to be successful. Their success depends on you being successful. but they only have one priority. They have one priority above making money at Facebook. If you understand what that priority is, then you understand everything it takes to really run good advertising campaigns. So you want me to tell you what that is?
Here it is. Lay down the truth bomb.
Okay, here it comes. Facebook loves one thing more than money, and that's attention. All right. They want to make sure that their people go on the platform and have a good time. Right. They don't want to have Aunt Madge scrolling through there and see some ad that upsets her, or even an ad that is too good. Like Facebook will stop you from writing ads that say, do you need to lose weight? Why? Because Aunt Madge goes, oh my God, how's he know? How's Facebook know I'm fat? Right? Freaks them out. So you can't use a wording like you like that on those types of ads, or a question mark in the ad, because it's impinging too much on the user. So you have to learn how to put it out. Well, do you know someone who needs to lose weight, right? Weight loss is done this way. You change your headlines. You kind of come out from the side, because you want to make sure they have a good time on the platform. If Facebook starts getting a negative response to those ads, they'll get rid of you, because remember, attention's worth more than money to them. And once you know that, then all their rules are designed to give their people a good time and to make sure your ads match the population, the people you're talking to, as closely as possible. You don't want to be doing the old thing of trying to sell somebody aluminum siding for their house and they live in an apartment, right? That's just an ad that's not going to make them happy. So follow Facebook's guidelines, and your ads will match the population as closely as possible, and everybody wins. So,
there you go. I love that. So really, it's, they're in the attention game. And as long as you're not upsetting that attention span, making them wanting to leave Facebook by getting frustrated, and because their algorithms will know if they clicked on the ad and then leave Facebook altogether, that's obviously a negative on your ad going.
They know stuff like this. You want to get creepy. Facebook tracks everything the person is doing at that moment, right? So if they're scrolling, if they slow down scrolling on your ad, Facebook knows that, for example. Right. If they scroll back up to see your ad, Facebook knows that, right? And they take all these things, even what do you do within 5 minutes of seeing your ad, right? They have all these data points, thousands of them, that give them an idea that, are you having a better time today than you did yesterday? And the way that's paid off for them is the stickiness of Facebook. I think the pandemic's changed things a bit on this, but before it had gone from 35 minutes to 55 minutes of time spent by the average daily user on Facebook. And that's just making it stickier and stickier. There's also an aspect of where it sort of poisons our society a little bit, because if you notice on Facebook, it only shows you what you want to see.
Of course.
So if you have a certain political point of view, they're only going to show you stuff that you will agree with. And so it puts you in your own private echo chamber. If you ever want to see something weird, just borrow the phone of your significant other or your friend or whatever, and look at their Facebook feed and you go, what is this? This is not Facebook, because they only show you what you want to see. When it comes to advertising, that helps you though, because only the people who want your product are going to see it.
Yeah, and you can if you are trying to target a specific demographics and psychographics, obviously if they follow certain individuals or certain parties or brands, obviously you kind of go, well, if they follow Grant Cardone and they also like books on sales, he's probably wanting to learn how to do marketing better. You can kind of triangulate that. And that's part of what you do for these guys, is you help set up their demographics and psychographics so that their ads go in front of the right people.
Yeah, that's right. And there's other things so the guy likes Grant Cardone, but maybe he liked Grant Cardone 6 months ago. So that's someone that Facebook will know. Like when you first run your ads, Facebook has all the data, including the recency and frequency. Well, did you go to Grant Cardone's thing once or 5 times? Did you go to other guys like Grant Cardone, right? Anyway, the algorithm is incredibly deep. And I guess what people can just know is this. The basic thing you have to understand about it is work with it. And that means reading the Facebook guidelines and really understanding what they're meaning. And don't try to outsmart the beast. You will not outsmart them. But if you work with them, it's like going for the flow on a river. You can try to swim a river all you want. And eventually, they'll just drown you. Or if you can get on the river and kind of go in the right direction, you're going to be just fine. And that's perfect. Most advertisers can do that. But it's funny. It's hard to do something simple sometimes, right? People have these different ideas from a guru. Oh, try this. Run your ad with a link in the thing and a picture of this. No. Just do what they recommend, and it works. It's like you have to be kind of smart enough to be dumb sometimes,
Yeah, just be able to understand their instructions and follow them. If you're just joining them with John Nesbit with the customerfactory.net, and he is sharing with us some great insights about Facebook marketing and Facebook advertising. There's these different trends that I hear about. what do you find is video, obviously, with Facebook Live, but do you find that video ads tend to get better traction than a stagnant picture ad?
Okay, so I do direct response. Most of my clients are like healthcare. Like we do chiropractors, veterinarians, dentists, that kind of thing is our main thing.
Right.
Which means we're after a very direct, immediately thing. We want an appointment scheduled, right? We want someone to schedule an appointment with that practitioner now. So it's a very direct response. We're not trying to build as much brand. So in that light, we found that the video ads, they work better, but they cost so much more that it's not that we don't use them. Because it's not cost effective. They, to get the video playthrough that you need, it takes so many more impressions to get that impression. It's a deeper, better impression. But in the marketplace right now, we test it every few months to make sure it's still that way, because we think one day video is going to work. And yes, it works better, and it's great for the it's good vanity, because certain doctors, well, I'd rather be on video because it's more me. Okay, great, that's fine. But the static ads actually still work better. I wouldn't, especially someone's getting, like, if you're so new that you don't already know what I just said, just do the static ads first, because there's no video that's going to pull you out unless you're doing like branding, or, I mean, there's always cases for things where what I'm saying won't apply. But if you're doing direct response, you want that reach right now, stay with the static ads and perfect that, and then enhance that with a video ad later on, or remarketing, or retarget the guys with a video ad. That pays off better. But the static ones are just going broadly out to the public.
Okay, great. And then you mentioned remarketing. Do you do any remarketing on YouTube? Have you brought that into the mix with your ad?
Well, actually, it's funny. YouTube's a different platform, right?
Yep.
So we do it on Facebook all the time, because we know we've got those guys on Facebook. When you cross platforms for the healthcare space that we happen to be in, Google is not as friendly to that space. So we don't use the YouTube guys like that. Although we would, like anything else, like remarketing in general is a great idea. Right? Like, it's like if you're doing any marketing at all online, you start with remarketing. And you say, well, how do you start with that? Well, you get a pixel on your website and you wait a few days, and you had visitors that have visited, and you retarget those guys. That's that easy. So that, like, if you're out, someone's wanting to start right now and get some immediate results on Facebook marketing and not spend a lot of money, just put the Facebook pixel on your website and wait until you've had some visitors, because most people will get visitors and most of them leave. And then start retargeting those guys once you've got maybe 50 or 100 of those guys. And those are people who already know you. Yep. And they'll get the fastest, easiest response. Maybe you'll spend like $10 a day on it, and that's your best money. The only problem with that approach is you can't scale it. You can't say, good, I'll spend $100 a day on that now. No, you only have so many visitors. But that's your easiest win if someone wants to start Facebook ads and make it work.
That's great. Okay, so just to recap here, you want the quickest wins with Facebook ads. Retarget those people that are going to your website. Make sure you add that Facebook pixel, grab their IP address, grab their identities electronically, retarget to them. But you brought up it's not scalable. So let's say they're doing $10 a day, and that's pretty much the peak of it. Then they could go to the second phase, which is finding similar audiences. Or
you can tell Facebook, hey, those people visiting my website, Facebook, sell my ad to people who are like them, right? So Facebook will do your targeting for you. If you've had 500 people or 1,000 people to your site, Facebook can say, what do all these people have in common? And they'll start with their algorithm. You'll put this big, crazy algorithm that people complain about. You'll put it to work for you by Facebook will find those people out there who are the same. So they'll say, oh, you like this and this and this, and you visit the website? Good, you might like this. And so, Facebook, like I say, they built a multi-gazillion-dollar system to help you win. I mean, they're not doing it because they suck or hard to use. They're winning because it works. Now, there's a lot more to it. Like, it's not just your ads; it's your landing pages. And I can give you some quick, like, there's some rookie mistakes I can just tell you not to make. Like here's the first one. You'll lose 50% of your results if you just when you have a Facebook ad and someone clicks on it. If you take them to your website, versus taking them to a landing page, you'll lose about 40 or 50% of your success, of your results. Now, why is that? You say, my website's awesome. My website's the greatest possible showing of me. I've worked forever on that damn thing. It's beautiful. It's got the slider. Problem is, it's got too much going on, right?
Yeah.
Problem is, it's got too many opportunities to get distracted, and people are easily distracted. A landing page, they also used to call them a squeeze page. The person lands on the page, and it's all about what they're interested in. So if you sell tires or whatever you got, it says, or for our clients, it says, okay, sciatica pain or knee pain or whatever you got. It talks just about that, and there's no links anywhere else. So they have two choices: sign up or get nothing. And that gets you the highest result if you bring them to a page like that versus your website. So don't make that mistake. That's an easy one. And you can go to any place like ClickFunnels or Unbounce or Lead Pages or whatever. Get an easy funnel page maker. These things are a dime a dozen out there, and they're all more or less about the same. And you have a landing page made in about like 20 minutes or half an hour. Maybe if you're brand new to it, maybe 2 hours. And you got a landing page that'll take phone numbers in and that kind of stuff. So.
Great tip. Yeah. So if you're starting out, don't drive the traffic from your Facebook ad to your website, although that may think that you're getting more attention from you. But what we're trying to do is put people into a funnel, send them to a landing page where it's focused on a topic, not distracting you. You'll generate more leads. Excellent tip there. When you are doing these Facebook ads, are you finding that certain industries really win and certain industries struggle to use Facebook? Like, just for whatever reason, there's something about that industry that just doesn't match with the Facebook.
Well, yeah, there's certain things like I think it's hard to sell area rugs via Facebook versus selling dental appointments. It's just a different, people want to touch and feel certain things. I say we mostly deal with healthcare, and we found that while each healthcare niche is different, they can all work because they are local, trying to reach local people of like pet owners or type of people, and a dental people, So some industries though are going to have trouble, and I think actually the biggest problem is people don't realize that some industries have a higher cost per acquisition. Just because we're generating leads for $35 for a new patient for a chiropractor doesn't mean that the roofer is going to pay $35 for a lead. Right.
Sure.
He may pay $200. I don't know what they pay. Right. So they could give up too soon. It doesn't change economics when you do Facebook. It just gives you access to the population. So if you've got a tough to sell product already, or it's difficult to make the case, you may have to look at a longer process. Like I say, again, for healthcare, everybody knows what going to the vet is. So we don't have to explain that. But if you're trying to sell a solar roof, for example, you might have to say, come download the solar roof evaluation tool. Then that's your first Facebook ads. And you just collect their name and identity and find out who's interested, get them to click so you can retarget them. And then you go on and say, okay, now here's some use cases of that. And you it might be a longer sales cycle. So I think the only place where an industry, if your product sells generally, and your people are on Facebook, then theoretically Facebook will work. Like, it's funny. People say, oh, I tried Facebook, it didn't work. Or I tried direct mail. My favorite. I tried direct mail and it didn't work. I go, really? So you sent out 100,000 emails or postcards and they didn't get arrived? That's a federal crime, man. Oh, no, the postcards got arrived. The postcards got delivered. Oh, all that means is someone looked at your postcard and your message failed to move them. Oh, that's just a messaging problem. So the channel works. If you're using Facebook and the channel's not working for you, either maybe it's not reaching your people, but most likely it is. It just means your targeting is wrong or you're showing them the wrong thing. It's just one of those two things. You're talking to the wrong people or you're saying the wrong thing. And if you're trying to sell in the ground pools, for example, you wouldn't say, hey, click here to order a pool. That's too steep a ramp for most guys.
Yeah, right.
If you're thinking about have a pool, we can determine here's what kind of pool is best for your yard. Use our pool selecting tool. Come on over, put your email address in, and we'll send you the results, right? And then you work them from there. So Facebook can use as a prospecting tool in that case, not always as a sales tool. It's not great for e-commerce. I will say this. It's not awesome for e-commerce. I used to own an e-commerce business. Believe me, I did endless playing around with it. And it's just not, people are not in the buying mood like they are in Google search. But again, Google search is not scalable. Like if you have Google search, there's only so many searches per day for whatever you're after. And it's into this auction thing. Whereas if you go after Facebook, you're after going people who haven't quite thought of it yet. You're prompting them. And that gives you a wider market. So it's just a matter of marketing strategy, Oh,
okay, good. I have a question here. Joe Costello says, if you get a landing site or a landing page, as you call it, how do they find your website to order your product?
Well, okay, theoretically, your landing page sells on the site. What the purpose of the landing page is, if it's a product, I get you maybe an e-commerce thing. If it's a product for sale, the landing page makes the case all the way down and sells it to them at the end, right? Okay. You don't need them finding, your website is out there to be found by people who are searching who haven't yet found you. If you're running an ad that's already in front of the person, they click, you don't need to go to the website. You have the sales area. That's now a sales prospect, not a introduction prospect.
Right. Okay, good. So you're introducing them to something like download a free guide. Now you take their email and now you can market to them and remarket to them through Facebook and through email.
Yeah, I'm a Facebook guy, but I'm going to tell you this. I'm an email guy first. That agency I mentioned was all email agency, by the way. We had email publications. And once you have the email address, once you have someone's contact address, their phone number, their email, their postal address, you own that contact then. So Facebook can't charge you for it again. Like use Facebook to collect identities and get people onto your list if that's all you do. Actually, that was the only way it really worked for e-commerce for us in the past. Is we would actually give away a free book that was interesting to our type of person, and then we run emails to those same people and sell them the product. We just beat them to death with email for a while, and that worked. But selling them the product directly on Facebook wasn't as good. So that two-step thing works better.
Okay, great. Okay, technical question here. So let's say, like I'm a board member of a med tech company. Our headquarters is in Connecticut. I just found out today that we have about 6,800 people that we've presented to the emails and the contact information for investment opportunity, but did not close. Can I take that email list and upload it to Facebook and retarget them?
Yeah, I don't know what the rules are on pushing investment. I've never promoted investment, so I don't know how you might have to go out. You have to find a way around that. But if you can take that list and upload it to Facebook, and if Facebook will match usually about half or 60% of the email addresses, which means they go, oh, we know who that user is. We can show them an ad for you, and you run an ad right to them. So it's fun. You can run Facebook ads and then running matching email ads, so they see the same messages come at them through multi-channels. And multi-channel is the old 1 + 1 = 3 thing. So if because in today's world, you have to kind of get above the noise level of what's going on in people's lives. So they see the same message through multiple channels. The higher frequency, you get more results. So I would do that. Yeah, hit them with the Facebook, and I should, whatever you could do, to like Facebook ads, retarget them, and then email them as well. And if you got their postal, something for an investment, I'd send them postal mail too with the same exact campaign.
Interesting. Okay, great tips. What do you see when somebody comes to you and they've said, "Oh, we've tried Facebook and it doesn't work"? Tell us what are the top 2 or 3 core mistakes that you pretty much are going to find 80-90% of the time.
All right. Yeah, we deal with what we call a lot of burn victims. We call ourselves burn units sometimes.
I love that.
Prospect comes in and he says, well, I know I need to do marketing. And you're like my 8th Facebook marketer who's come along. And I'm sitting here like flicking a lighter in front of him. I feel like he's like, oh, I don't want to get burned again. I'm like, okay. Actually, what we find is not usually a problem with the client. It's a problem with the agencies that are out there. A lot of guys have taken a weekend course and they know more about Facebook than the client does, but they don't know enough to get results.
Right.
It takes a lot of methodical number crunching. Like, for example, most people realize I have an analytic mathematician on staff, right? He majored in math. I didn't know he could do such a thing. The guy majored in math. I have another evaluation technology, 2 people trained in evaluation technology here, right? Like we've crunched numbers to know. And what I find out when people come, we say, what was the mistake they made? Okay, I can tell you what the mistakes were made in their name. They said, oh, we have, like, if it's a chiropractor who has a laser technology, they want to treat people with laser. They'll run an ad and say, we have this great laser. Come see our laser. Our laser will treat you, right? And to a person who's receiving the ad, well, that's not interesting to them. The mistake they make in ad copywriting is that the ad is needs to be about the reader, not about the person who's presenting. So the temptation to say, come see me because I'm awesome. I have all this going on. No, you have to say, I know that problem you're having. I know exactly. Like, you've got bone on bone knee pain, right? It grinds. It's stiff. When you go to stand up after like 10 minutes of sitting down, it's stiff, right? You go upstairs and it kind of creaks a little bit. That hurts, right? Yeah. We handle that here. And that's it. That's the ad. You have to say even how you handle it, and let the customer know that you understand them, and they'll go, you get me, man. And then they'll click, and then you've got them.
Right. Yeah. Good old fashioned copywriting, show empathy for the client's needs, pains, whatever it is that they want to relieve.
We call it just to give the short different so you can remember it. We call it the Batman process, right? Because we make the person who you're showing the ad to, he's Batman. He's the hero of the story. We're Alfred. We're just the helpful guy who's going to show you around, who's going to support you. So you need this, Batman? I'll get it for you. Hey, Batman, you're having this problem? We're going to handle that for you. So we call it the Batman Alfred method.
I love that. And Alfred gets to live in the same house and not get beat up.
That's right.
Okay, Joan has another question. Should people sign up for a month and see how it goes, or sign up for a longer time on Facebook? Okay,
if you're doing paid ads on Facebook, look, in my company, we don't have any contract because it doesn't take long to figure out whether someone knows what they're doing or not. So if you're going to hire a marketing agency, do it month to month, because when you start running paid ads on Facebook, you should see results the next day. I mean, it's bam.
Okay.
You turn it on, it's a faucet, right? And if maybe it takes a few days or a week or two to kind of work out your market, if you have some really funky thing, something unusual, but it should happen immediately. I would never sign here's the thing. I mean, look, from a business point of view, contracts with marketers, those contracts are not for the buyer. Those contracts are for the agency, for the market, because they want to still get paid even if they screw up. You should not have any contract with someone on a marketing deal that isn't based on them keeping you happy. This, like, the second my clients are not happy, they're free to leave. You know, you know what that does to me and my team? We're getting results, man, you know, because they can leave, you know? So that's the trick. Anybody wants to have you sign a contract for long-term marketing is doing it for their benefit, not yours.
Absolutely. I have the same mentality and philosophy with how I handle the people I work with. It's like, if you're not happy with me, walk away.
Exactly. Yeah. And also, by the way, we use that too, because we fire clients sometimes too, because sometimes somebody's a squeaky wheel and they're the prima donna. We're like, you know what? We don't do that here. We're not charging enough to hold your hand. We're getting your results or not, fine, but don't abuse my staff or whatever. We can in the contract, we can say, hey, no contract, you're out of here, you know? So it has a business purpose too, because I think there's a human right that's not been spelled as all the human rights charters in the world, right? The one human right that's not there is you shouldn't have to work with jerks. So that's one I would pencil on the bottom. No working with jerks. So we don't work with jerks.
Yeah, I think it's in the Constitution. Like, I have the inalienable right to pursue happiness. And if they're not making me happy, I don't want to pursue that anymore.
Even clients, right? Exactly. So if the client, look, you're supposed to be making each other happy, right? Any kind of business relationship should be working out, right? So if it's not, why punish each other with a contract? Besides, these contracts where someone's going to sue you over, like, you know, you didn't fulfill your $2,000 a month contract, they're not going to sue you for that. This is stupid. These contracts are dumb, you know?
Yeah. So you've niched down into mainly doctors, veterinarians, dentists, because you've got a system down, and there's, I don't know how many dentists and veterinarians, but we're never going to run out of them.
Yes. Also, I found out, luckily for me, essential services. Thank God they're essential services. So we had a small dip, but we're bigger than ever right now, you know?
Yeah. There's a great thing to service the essential services, because they're going to be around. Do you have any new types of activities or strategies that you're going to be offering or looking to offer in 2021 and beyond? Is there something that kind of intrigues you about the marketing world?
Yeah, actually, we've just this last week launched. I mean, we mentioned this before. Something, everybody's got a website, and I had some clients. They always like, "Could you do our website?" I'm like, "I'm not a web developer, man. Maybe I'll give you some landing pages, but I don't do website. I don't do pretty. I do effective, right? You know, I don't. You know, you want a puff piece? I'm not your guy, right? And I'd never had a team assembled for that. But clients kept saying, "Oh, my site." So I started looking at what's going on. I realized most people, their websites are just these crappy online brochures. They're not held to the standard of, like, they should work, right? So I started. We took all the back end stuff and added to websites. We call them integrated marketing sites now, which means we put the Facebook pixel on the site, so everybody goes to the site. We retarget them with ads based on what pages they visited. If someone you already are dealing with visits your page, it tells you they visited and starts them sending an email track, right? It does, and every page is held responsible for every pixel on your website now has to contribute to making more closes. It's conversion-based design. So either it's helping convert or it's not. If it's not, it's out of there. And so we get rid of the puffy sliders and all the baloney that's on there, and it's really like a workhorse website. And it's actually working out pretty well, because people usually go, most people, when we survey, they said, "I hate my website," or "it sucks," or "I'm at least disappointed in it. It doesn't do what it does." Yeah, because whoever designed it to make the person who bought it happy. The web developer's customer was the business owner, and the business owner isn't his customer. The business owner is a business owner. So the web developer made the business owner happy, but no one actually tried to make the visitors happy. So we've now turned that on its side and say, okay, these sites, like I'm telling doctors, I know you don't like the design, doc, but your patients do. So what do you want? You want to be right about how it looks, or you want to have the thing work, right? And that's a whole new product that I'm not sure anybody's really offering that. And it integrates with the other marketing that we're doing for the guys. And it's kind of cool. I'm liking it.
That is very cool. And, you know, you make a very astute observation, which is, to the untrained, and when I say untrained, regarding marketing, how it's done and how it works effectively in our modern era, people unfortunately will judge the book by the cover versus the content of the book itself. And it's hard to get people past that point of aesthetic, and that it's a bit of an egotism to some degree.
Well, we've all seen the beautiful ad on TV. That was a great ad, wonderful song, and then at the end you go, "What was that for?" I don't know. We've all seen that ad.
Absolutely. I mean, look at Craigslist. It's the ugliest website in the world, and it's probably worth billions of dollars.
Look, if you look at your average landing page, like your average landing page is not a thing of beauty. It's a brute force. Here it is, right? And it's optimized with an inch of its life to get a result. So you get 100 people there. It wants to get as many of those 100 to sign up. So why did it become websites are just big collections of pages, which are like, ugh. We don't go 100 people come here. We don't care how many people sign up. Yeah, we do. You should, So you start holding to a standard, it changes everything about it. It doesn't have to be ugly, but it has to be designed for the visitor, not for the business owner, right? It's a funny thing. It's and getting, actually, I'll be honest, I'm not sure this product's going to be successful because I'm not sure I can get enough practitioners through that barrier, because they want, I told a guy, this whole thing is, yeah, I totally get it. Yeah, it's for the patient. He goes, well, show me a link. I want to see what it looks like. See if I like it. I'm like, dude, it ain't for you, man. It's not for you.
I have an idea. I have an idea. You could have almost 2 slides go, here's a beautiful website, and here's a statistic of highest evers of new patients. Which one's more beautiful?
Yeah, right. Yeah, you want a stack of money or a which would you like?
Find more attractive.
Exactly. So I don't, like I say, I'm not sure it's going to work as a product. We had several guys sign up for it. We had a Black Friday sale for our own clients and pushed it out. We do that to test something new. Yep. And we got guys taking us up on it, but I know it's going to be the world's not going to beat their path to my door for an ugly website. But, I'm hoping they'll beat a path to our door for a site that works,
There you go. Next question here. So obviously you're leaning hard with Facebook with advertisements. You're now kind of getting into the integrated so that each page on the website works with Facebook ads and retargeting strategy. How does organic sharing of social media fit into that ecosystem?
Okay, so that's like a different zoo. It's not even a different animal. It's a different zoo. And Facebook is funny about this. So when it comes to Facebook, I can tell you about Facebook. We have guys who their ad costs will be a little, if they have a very busy Facebook page, their ad costs will be a little lower, right? Yeah. It's also more people to retarget. However, we've also had guys, remember, I have chiropractors as clients, and if they post something that is a little like experimental health type stuff, and Facebook doesn't like it, we can see their ad costs go up as a penalty. Like they actually prevent that from getting out. So what we tell clients is we have a fan page, we'll manage that, and we do nothing with it, right? Right. I'll be honest. I used to tell clients post on there. It's worth something. I don't really think it's actually worth as much effort like in these days on Facebook fan pages, because if say you have 1,000 people who like your page and you post on it, like 10 or 20 might see your posting.
Yeah, I know. I'm the same thing.
And then if you want to reach them, you got to pay to reach them. And even if you pay to reach them, you can't reach them all. That whole thing of, hey, when Facebook convinced everybody to go around and get likes, everybody get likes for your page, all they were doing was collecting data. And I don't know if they didn't realize it or not, but because everybody likes 1,000 different pages, they literally can't show everybody all of the pages who have new posts, so they have to choose. And I don't do it. I don't recommend it. I don't tell my clients to waste any time on that in terms of posting, because it has a plus a liability. It can help, but it also has a liability. And I can't prove where it moves the needle financially for an office. I can prove where doctors get their front desk person convinces them, let me be on Facebook all day and we'll put funny hats on, it'd be great. But I don't see where that actually causes any financial result.
Yeah. And I think that's the key is you really have to break it down to, we're going to connect your Facebook and social media activity to a bottom line. Now, if you want to just put on the funny hats because it makes you feel good,
right,
then, have at it. You bring up a point, which is bringing the worlds together, which is Facebook ads, retargeting, and email. It's almost like if you will, the holy triangle of marketing. And it's so funny. I've come to the same conclusions. I mean, today we talked for our very first time, but I've been a big advocate of email. And to really stress this, when I was at the 10X conference, in February, before the whole world fell apart, Ryan Deese was one of the guest speakers. And he said, in 2020, he goes, email is going to be the king of content distribution. Build your list, engage your list. And then, of course, he went into the high tech of it. And then he went right into use social media to get emails.
Yeah.
Right. And it seems like all the smartest minds are coming to the same conclusion through experimentation, trial and error, and, as you say, crunching the numbers to see what actually works. So I think it really validates what you've been saying here today, because, you know, I paid a lot of money to go to a conference to have somebody tell me this.
No problem. I didn't jump off an airplane or anything. It's cool, right?
That's right.
Yeah, it's funny. People talk about email like it's coming back. Email never left.
Never left.
In 2003, I was running an email database with 100 million subscribers in it, right? And we were sending content out to it and getting open rates and stuff like that. And that still happens. I mean, did you just get less email than you get in the year recently than you got the previous year? Of course not. Email works. Now, you got to be intelligent, because like anything else, there's a more crowded email marketplace. So you got to stand out, and you got deliverability is a big issue, and people freak out about I'm going to the promotions tab and spam. Okay, yeah, those are real issues. But, you know, again, it's funny. The same rules that apply to your Facebook ads apply to your email. If it can be very relevant, your email can get huge open rates and be your lifeline.
Oh, yeah.
I'll say this: if you took my business away but left me my list, I'd be in business still. If you took my list away from my business, we'd struggle.
Yeah. I mean, the money is in the list.
Yeah.
Oh, one of the oldest datums there is in sales, right? And the fortune's in the follow-up.
Right. That's right.
And when you put all those things together, what you're doing so well at, which is Facebook, building the list, retargeting, and email, basically the fortunes, you're following up through email, you're following up retargeting ads, you bring those two datums to roost in terms of actual execution.
Yeah, if you think about one, like look what we talked about retargeting earlier, right? Retargeting is this awesome thing. All retargeting is a soft kind of list. It's a specific group of people in the world who visited you or shown interest in something, and that's why it works so well. It's not a great list because you don't get the identities yourself, but that's why it works. It's more specific and better targeted, so you'll always win with that.
Yeah. Okay. Great. And then, so somebody wants to contact you. Let me just bring this up here. Look, if you've been joining with us on Growth Driven, you can visit the scrolling at the bottom, thecustomerfactory.net. If you're going to listen to this later on a podcast, it's thecustomerfactory.net, N-E-T. And I will, when this uploads to YouTube and I put the pretty thumbnail on it and I do all that optimization stuff, I will add a link to John's website. So if you're a doctor, a chiropractor, a veterinarian, any other industries that you work with?
We do auto repair, vets, chiropractors, and dentists. Those are the four.
Good. So if you're in one of those four, reach out to John, and he can definitely help you. What before we go here, what if somebody met you for 3 minutes and had said, "Give me your best 3-minute knowledge," and above what you've done, what are some things I can walk away with right now and do something with Facebook?
Okay, so write your ads to be written for the person who's reading it.
Okay.
Make sure when someone goes to your landing page that the landing page matches the ad. Low conversion on a landing page is caused by the person arriving and thinking they're in the wrong place, or not realizing like the landing page has to continue the conversation from the ad, right? And then on the landing page itself, don't get too wordy. Say as little as you need to, right, as you can. The mistake people make is they oversell on the landing page. Just paragraphs and paragraphs of text and everything. No. Cut that stuff down. Cut it down. Use the smaller landing pages actually seem to do better, right? Okay. Make your offer very compelling. Make it very understandable. For example, for a doctor, he says, "Oh, free consultation." Well, that's okay. But you say, how about this? Free consultation where you'll meet the doctor. We'll discuss your specific situation and symptoms. And if it hurts more the daytime or nighttime, blah, 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 right? Like sell your offer. Don't just assume people know what it is or understand its value. If you do those things and then you just reasonably target well, and then follow your nose on the data. Facebook does like to new things, so you have to rewrite the ads occasionally and redo the landing pages. But that'll get you started right there, right? And don't be afraid to spend few bucks. You're gonna have to pay to learn. You're not going to start. Your first ads are probably not going to be hit it out of the park. It's okay. We were all sucked at it at one point, and you get better. So don't worry about that. Just start, and you're like, I'll tell you this. I heard a crushing statistic the other day. I'm not going to mention the name, but there's a major guy, this guy who sells online courses, right, on how to do Facebook. And he basically disclosed that he was ruined about it. He was upset about this. He was pissed off about this, but he couldn't fix this. What percentage of people that actually ran a Facebook ad after going to his course, right? Let me ask you. So big course, I won't mention his name, but I'll say big courses, 1,000 people who take it. And you actually saw what percentage of people actually ran an ad? 2%.
Wow.
And he's a good guy. He's like, I know how to do this. I'm teaching you how. And I noticed actually his first course was like, here's how you do it. His second course was like, okay, I'll help you. I'll hold your hand. The third one was, I'll run your ad for you and write it for you. My people will get on the phone. And he was like, that. And I realized that was what he was trying to combat, is only 2% actually ran a paid ad after buying his stuff. And I think people will make it through the courses, but I also realize it's just people want to know before they go. I'm going to tell you, this is advertising. You'll never know. You'll never know until you go. So just put a $20 bill into the Facebook, write your best ad, put a schlocky website together. It doesn't even matter if it is a website. Just start, and then follow your nose. Follow the data after that, and you'll eventually end up where you want to be.
I love that. That's such a great, awesome growth hack. Hey, John, I'm going to have you back here soon. I know that we want to talk about processes and procedures. Maybe we can talk about some other things here. You've provided extreme amount of value today. So thank you for that. Kudos. Guys, thank you for joining. If you've been joining in here on Growth Driven, or you're going to watch in the future or listen in the future as a podcast, thank you so much for being a part of this community. Thank you. I really hope that we are bringing you the knowledge that you need to succeed in life. That is the purpose of the show. This is a purpose-driven show for growth. And I think, John, you knocked it out of the park. It
occurs to me, I have something. I give a downloadable way to my docs who are interested. If you like, if someone, I'll tell you what, go to my website and email me, john@thecustomerfactory.net. Okay. I've got an ebook that I'll give you. That's my 30 top tips on running Facebook ads. If you're a chiro or a dentist, this is all you need. This will get you started.
That's awesome. John, thanks again. And here we go.
Thanks for having me on. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Peace out, everybody, and be well out there.